Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and in just a moment we're going to be looking at some fun hands I played against some absolute whoppingly terrible players in the last week on the iPoker streets. Now this video is containing the name Lance in the title, and for those people of a certain age, they'll be familiar with the Australian soap Home and Away when it first launched. Obviously, some people are familiar with it now, but when it first launched, there was a couple of characters in there called Lance and Martin, who were good friends, but they were absolute morons. Lance, in particular, was the character was particularly low IQ, just basically an absolute dummy, a duck egg. Ethico, like Benny off Crossroads, like Kirk off Coronation Street, like Robbie on EastEnders. Basically, just low IQ losers. And that's kind of the what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at hands played against low IQ losers. And I've christened these players Lances or Lance. I'm in a Skype group with someone. I'm going to protect going to protect him. But I'm in that Skype group, a Discord group, and he calls lots of players Dimitri in terms of like players that he thinks play like a tight, aggressive East European style. He calls them all Dimitri. It's a bit stereotypical. It's a bit anti-Eastern European. Who gives a fuck? Not me. Certainly not him. He calls them all Dimitris. I like the fact he's christened a certain player type, a certain name, and I'm going to christen all these players Lances. So there we go. What are you doing, Lance? You fucking great big galah, or whatever the fuck Alf Roberts on Hornway used to say to them. So these are all hands against Lances. At the end of the video, we're going to look at how my results were for last month. Spoiler alert, I wasn't impressed. But we'll look at them at the end and we'll discuss my plans for May. We're not going to spend a lot of time analysing these hands because they're just played against people who are, well, thick as fuck, basically. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, Lance limps. Lance's mate limps. We ISO to 8 big blinds. I've never had any idea how to make this against these stack sizes. Like, I mean, we should definitely be ISOing pretty wide from the blinds against these like super loose passive limps. But against 30 bigs, do we just make it 5? Against 60 bigs, do we make it, I don't know, 7? Against 100 bigs, do we make it 10? I don't know. I guess it depends on just exactly how lancy the lances are. I guess the more lancy they are, the more you should want to just put more and more money in the pot. Who knows? Anyways, this player calls. We get this flop. I just bet. He calls. Turn deuce. I put the rest in, 14 bigs more. He calls. Ace river. By now, I don't know what his cards were. Yeah, Jack 4 off. So well played, Lance. You put all your money in with really terrible equity and got bailed out. You flaming galah. On to the next one. We have the Ace Queen offsuit. We have a call here, and then we have Lance min 3-betting, min squeezing, however you want to put it. I guess we should just stick him in. I try to stick him in and then don't put enough money in because I too am a fucking Lance. Then he just calls, leaving 3 big blinds behind, and then he bets 1 big blind. We're all in, I guess. Oh, we're putting him all in. He calls. And he had the 9-3 suited, which, fair play once he hits that flop. I don't think you can fold. I don't think you can fold second pair in that flop on a 4-bet pot. I don't think you can do it. I mean, I think he's played the flop fine. I think pre-flop's a little bit loose. Maybe he can think about altering his strategy a tiny bit pre-flop. But I think post-flop, I think once you flop a pair in a 4-bet pot, you just got to go with it. So, well played, Lance. Well played, sir. Um, Here we open the ace-9 suited. Lance calls. We bet pretty large. Lance calls. Turn brick, you would imagine. Who knows though? Lance checks again. We go with another large bet. Obviously here I'm just targeting worst 9x, 7x, 8-6, flush draws. There's all kinds of things we can target and just get paid. Like against people with these stats, you just whatever. Yeah, the 3 theoretically isn't a great card for my range. Fuck all that. We're playing against Lance, aren't we? And Lance can have many, many, many worse hands here that want to put more money in. Lance decides he wants to put it all in. This particular Lance has a little bit of post-up aggression. I mean, obviously we're not folding because it's Lance. We call it off. We fill up on the river. And Lance was drawing to 5 outs. 2 of which gave him a chop. So, yeah. Nice work, Lance. Nice work, sir. On to the next one. 2 jacks. We have a Lance here over limping versus, we'll call this guy Martin, his friend, because he's not quite as Lancey. So we've got Martin and Lance both limping in here. We just decided to make it 9x on the button. I mean, again, who knows? You're playing in games like this. We've got Lance, Martin, Lance. I mean, quite absurd. What size are you supposed to make it on the button with 2 jacks here? I don't fucking know. All in? 20 bigs? 10 bigs? 6 bigs? 30 bigs? I don't fucking know. Answers on the postcard. Anyway, Martin gets out of the way. Lance comes along. Lance checks. I decided to go with 2x pot over bet because why not? Put him all in. He calls. Yeah, just the king 4 offsuit. So this particular Lance was all about the backdoors here, wasn't he? He had a backdoor straight draw, he had a backdoor flush draw, and he had an overcard. I mean, fuck me. With that kind of equity, who knows how much money he'd be willing to put in. Maybe he was lucky he only had what he had. Alright, okay, so this particular Lance here, who was yet to be tagged, decides he doesn't want to play poker anymore and open rips 50 big blinds. We flop a set. That's probably going to win. King Jack off. That's unlucky, to be fair. He had 1 overcard. He flopped a lot of equity. I think he can walk away from the table there cursing his luck. On the flop, he was not far off 30% equity, maybe. Maybe, yeah, what a shame. Fucking sick. Really, sometimes this game can be so fucking cruel. Unlucky, Lance. Okay, we have another Lance just going all in. We have a particularly tough decision here, like whether to slow roll or not. I don't slow roll Lances, so I think we just flicked it in pretty quickly. Well, that ace doesn't look good, does it? But he had the king 7 again. A little bit unfortunate for him because he had what 30% equity pre, 25 to 30% equity pre. I mean, it's just sick when you lose them all the time. I mean, poor Lance. Maybe he wants to slightly reduce his VPIP and PFR. Maybe if you can just get this down to maybe like 85 and get that down below 50, maybe his win rate will improve slightly. But I mean, I'm not going to tell him how to play his own man. 10-8 of diamonds. We get Martin the same table as earlier. But Martin limping. Lance obviously limping behind. I mean, why wouldn't he? We just had to overlimp this time, which I don't know why. Probably because they're not folding and my hand's pretty. Then we get They're all aggro lances. There's only Martin here who's winding his neck in. Anyway, every cunt calls. So I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm only playing one of the highest rate environments on the fucking internet. Why not just flick 4 more big blinds in with 10 high? We're going to flop trips, so that's nice. Everyone checks. I mean, we need to bet here. No idea how fucking much. I wouldn't see myself go like just 6 bigs here, but who knows? I mean, we're not going to analyse these videos too much in terms of what should Reg do. We're up against 3 lances and a Martin, and we've got trips. Just put money in the pot, Reg. We went with half. Then Lance decided he wanted to play for all of it, which is just fine by me. He had a gut shot. I mean, to be fair, I watched quite a few training videos, and you are meant to be aggressive with your gut shots. You know, not bad hands to semi-bluff with. So, I mean, fair play. Obviously, he's studying this guy. He's obviously studying hard, and it's just a bit unlucky for him that he ran into trips on this occasion. Okay. Got an aggressive lance opening under the gun. We've got a boring nit, 3-betting from the big blind. And Lance decides he wants to see 3. Boring nit flops a set. Boring nit bets 2/3 pot. Lance decides, fuck it, that's good enough for me. Boring nit calls. That's probably not a good card. You'd imagine that Lance is going to have quite a few spade combinations in his range for just ripping the flop. That's a good river though, because now we have a full house. Oh, shame. Top pair, no good. Top pair and a straight draw, though, to be fair. I mean, that's a pretty strong combo draw. Top pair and a straight draw. I mean, you're entitled to get all the money in there. Unlucky, Lance. Unlucky, mate. So we have a Lance, a Martin, and another Martin here. Martin number 2 decides to ISO to just 4 big blinds from the small blind versus 2 limps, which is an interesting strategy. I don't know how successful it will be long term for him, but good luck with it, mate. We decide to set mine. Oh, what a surprise! A flop a set. This is against a Martin. It's not against a Lance. Anyway, he bets 10 big blinds. We very, very deceptively just trap. What a fantastic deception play by me. Martin decides to pot it again. I think at this point, probably just go all in because it doesn't look like Martin's got the type of hand he wants to fold. Martin does indeed snap it off. Ooh, King Queen gets there, hearts get there. This one might be a problem. Oh no, Martin just had Ace-5 and decided a gut shot was enough on the turn to just gamble with. And I mean, fair again, we talked earlier about the power of the gut shot and the semi-bluff. So fair play to him. It's obviously like he's studying all the right things, and again, just didn't work out for him. Just a cooler. It'll turn round. It will turn round if you keep playing like that. Things will go your way eventually. Also, we have what looks like not a Martin or a Lance. We decide to 3-bet. There you go. Lance is in. Lance is in. I mean, of course, we flop top pair. See about half pot. Again, Lance, we got a good hand. Just put money in. I think quarter pot, half pot, 3/4 pot. Who gives a fuck? Just put money in. Call. All in for 1.5 pots, thereabouts. Lance doesn't give a fuck. Lance does not give any fucks. And why would he when he had 2 queens? You know, why would he give a fuck? What a shame. What a shame. And now the final hand of this particular portion of the video. We have the aces, we have a Lance limping, we have another Lance 8x ISOing. I mean, like what size now? 30, maybe? Maybe just make it 24? I don't fucking know. I haven't got a clue. How do I know? See what we did. Yeah, we made it 30. Lance decides, yep, that's enough to see a flop. But why wouldn't he? You know, this is the guy we thought maybe needs to just trim his VP around a little bit. Um, you know, why wouldn't he want to see a flop? Three queens. It's a good flop. We flopped a full house. Oh, Reggie sets the trap. Lance goes with quarter pot. So the guy's got a quarter pot button. Hats off to him. We just call. 9 on the turn. We check. Lance checks back. That's disappointing, isn't it? How are we going to get all the money in if Lance stops betting? So now we know Lance has probably got nothing. Maybe next to under pair for a lower full house. Maybe. Who knows? Jack on the river. We decide to go with the blocky, hoping that Lance decides to bluff or has a full house with the Jack and decides to get spicy. Yep, and Lance does go all in. All we can do now is hope and pray to Alf Roberts that this guy hasn't just fucking done us. We call. And, oh, I mean, so cruel. So fucking cruel. He obviously went for the low frequency ISO / call with the Jack 6. River the boat. I mean, poker can be such a fucking cruel game. Let's just all just have a quiet moment of reflection for just how sad that is for Lance to get such a sick run out, really. You know, he'd done it, given up on the hand. He was like, oh, I've just given up. And then he rivers a boat. And then he loses the rest. Never mind, Lance. So now we're done taking the piss out of Lance. Let's get on to taking the piss out of myself now, because this was my last month on the Euro sites. Fucking atrocious, frankly. Absolutely atrocious. I mean, bear in mind, you just seen how many chips I'd done, and those hands were like from the last few days of the month. I mean, I'm playing games where that's like quite often a thing. We put 102 hours in on the Euro sites, and we made, what's that? 130. I don't even know what this one including payout shit is, but we didn't win very fucking much. We won like 100 and something. Shambles, absolute fucking disgrace. What's that? $130 odd. Now I think there was a bit of cashing out and this and fucking that going on. No, that's not the one we want to look at yet. We'll save that. I think like we did some cashing out on party and maybe we made a little bit more. Yeah, not a lot, but a little bit. Like maybe an extra €50. And we ran pretty bad. We ran like whatever, 8 or 9 binds below EV. Big fucking deal. Grow up, Reg. This is the thing that really pisses me off. That just awful. Just an awful month of trying to play too many tables. Playing speed poker, but trying to play 3 of them or 4 of them. Playing too many tables on iPoker rather than focusing on game quality and quality of my play. I decided arrogantly that, oh, fucking hell, Reg, you've had a great year so far. You know, let's just ignore all the things that you do quite well, i.e. game select, i.e. exploit fish, i.e. Keep your volume a bit lower so you can focus better. Just let's not do all of those things, Reg. Let's just ignore all the core values and core principles of your game and take liberties. And that's what we did. We took liberties, and that's the fucking outcome. An absolutely shocking red line, shocking green line. They're just really, really bad. I mean, fortunately, we did all right on Sky. We didn't play much volume on Sky. That turnover 6,000, so it's not high volume. But we saved the month basically, because without this on Sky, the month would have been a monumental fucking waste of time. But yeah, overall, what a fucking waste of time May was. And I know how entitled that sounds because a lot of you guys watching this will have not made whatever it is that adds up to in the end. You know, plus rate back probably 800. You know, I know how entitled that fucking sounds, but I'm really fucking annoyed because I just did so many things wrong. And I just got a bit disillusioned, a bit fed up with it all, but like just pissed off with myself, not fed up with the game, just fed up with myself for just like not sticking to the game plan. And this is what happens when you don't stick to the game plan for the month. I mean, my red light's never great. I'm not going to pretend anything otherwise. But in 41,000 hands, I lost over 50 buy-ins of red line. Yeah, it's just fucking awful. It's just not good. It can just be like so much better than that. So for the month of May, I think I'm mostly going to play iPoker, and I'm going to really limit my table count. Because I'm not that arsed about making money from poker anymore. As long as I'm not losing money, that's fine. And if I'm making, even if I only make a few hundred a month, but I enjoy the hobby, I enjoy like just doing what I do, that's fine. Volume is much less important to me. How many hours I play, not as important as it used to be. Just play when I want to play. Keep my volume down and just do the things that I enjoy doing, which is bum hunting. Not like overwhelming myself, and yeah, it's basically this was a fucking shit out. We can't be having this for another month. Because yeah, it's just a fucking joke. So yeah, that's the end of this part. Now, if we look at year to date, that'll come up in just a moment. You see, basically, I'm on quite a long break-even stretch now. It stretches back into somewhere in March, like 50,000 hands of break-even poker, or barely break-even, just above break-even. Again, in the games I play, that is shit. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a bit of speed poker in there, and what have you, but it's fucking rubbish. And it's pretty much a testament to how poorly I've been doing in terms of, like, I know what my game plan is. My game plan is don't overwhelm yourself with tables. Make sure your table selecting well so you're not at bad tables. And then just try really hard to pay attention and try hard to exploit. And you can't do that when you're 5 and 6 tabling. You can't do that very well when you're playing speed poker because you just don't get the reads. When you play speed poker, unless you stick around and fold and watch, you don't get to see how people are playing hands that you're no longer involved in. When you're playing 6 tables, you don't get to observe hands you're not in very well. All the things I do really well, all the things that down the years when I've been coaching people, I've encouraged people to do, keep your eye on top pots you're not in, especially on like players who you think are going to be very exploitable, see the showdown, see what they're doing, see what they're up to, see how they played the ranges across every street, and then look for things to exploit. And you can't do any of that when you're 6 tabling or when you're playing speed poker. So I deserve this break-even stretch. I don't deserve anything more. I've been a bit of an entitled prick. I've been doing a bit of GTO study, thinking that, and I've fallen into like a 2023 shit reg kind of mentality of just fucking grind volume out, and when I lose, it's not my fault, and it's fucking rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. I deserve it. Everything that's happened to me, or that my lack of success over the last 5 or 6 weeks, I deserve every tiny bit of it because I've just been an entitled, arrogant cunt. So yeah, this month we're gonna have a Reggie Time special. Just keep the volume down. Try and get the win rate super high. And I mean super high, like 10 big blinds per 100 plus. Try and get the rate build down a little bit and just enjoy the game. So, yeah. There we go. That's the April review. It's A Few Fun Hands, and it's the fucking Elridge, you're a moron. And I deserve that caning, because, I just spent the first 50 minutes of the video caning fucking whoppers. But I think I'm allowed to do that when I'm going to just come along and cane myself afterwards. And if I'm not allowed to do it, who gives a fuck? Not me. So yeah, we're out of here. Don't think there'll be any more videos this week. Who knows? But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, everybody. It is now Tuesday the 4th. If you live in the UK, in 2 days' time at the local elections, do not be fucking apathetic. Get out there and vote for whichever fucking politician or councillor has the best chance of beating a Tory candidate in your fucking parish, in your whatever the fuck it is. Let's just give these Tories a fucking good kicking. As always, fuck the Tories, fuck Lance, and fuck all the regs. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.